As you can see in front of you over here is the first time in Fiji's history we have published the roll of all the eligible voters for the 2014 elections. It is unprecedented because you will see from the rolls that they have been published with photographs of all the voters in color. So you can come and have a look at it. And they have been carried out in alphabetical listing in the various divisions. So you have the Western Division, we have the Central Division, the Northern Division, and the Eastern Division, of course. And we also have another smaller roll which has the register of the voters who live overseas. So far, of course, as you know, we've only done New Zealand. And this roll we expect it to get a lot bigger once we go out to Australia and various other locations throughout the world where Fijians live and who wish to be registered to vote. This morning we had called, in fact yesterday, the 4 registered political parties to come and collect their copy of the entire set, which we have given to them for free. The decree does talk about payments, but we've given it for free, and they all have access to it and taken it away with them. And so that's their copy. From Thursday also this week, various centers throughout Fiji, for example, in the Western Division, in Singatoka, Nandi, Otoka, various places, staff from the elections office will have these rolls with them, and you can go there and you can check your details. Your address may have changed, or just in case you've been wrongly put in the Western Division when you're in the Central Division, you can verify all those details. The staff will be there, and you can give your details, validated obviously through documentary evidence, and they can make those changes. The roll is about 540,000 voters, all of them are here. And this is obviously part and parcel of the process which we have been talking about. This morning also we highlighted to the political parties who were present. By the way, we invited all 4 of them. Out of the 4, 3 turned up except the NFP. So SODELPA, PDP and FLP were present with their officials. And they've all taken away their copies, like I've said. We also highlighted to them about what we had announced at the Aiyaz conference, that the rules pertaining to the elections are currently being drafted. We already have one working draft. And that once those rules are completed and have been approved and gazetted, then we would also hold training sessions for the political parties to take them through the rules so they fully understand it. We also highlighted to them that the political parties need to give us the names of the scrutineers much earlier on in the piece. As you know, generally polling stations have scrutineers. So when the votes are being counted, the ballot boxes are being opened and the votes are being counted, they are there to see and satisfy themselves that the counting is being done in a transparent and credible manner. What we've said to them, unlike previously where names were submitted always at the last minute and there was no training, we want to also have separate training for the scrutineers, so they know exactly what to look for, what are the actual processes and systems that will be used for the counting, what the ballot boxes will look like and what will the seals like, so they know exactly everything. And so they were happy with that. And also we've highlighted to them about the program about registering the voters offshore. So that's what happened today, and you're most welcome to check your name over here if you wish to see and it's quite good. We've already people who have already seen it, we received, in fact the political parties received very good feedback from them also, and various other people who have seen this role. Where's the deed? This The elections of the Central Division, we have Elections Office, MHCC, CWM Hospital, Market Police Post. A lot of people go through there. MH Vivras Plaza, RB South Point, New World Narere, Hanson Supermarket, New World Valelevu, Shop and Save Wanimbuku, Nambua, Shop and Save Super Fresh Nambua, Nosori GSC, Nosori MH, Lamy RB Harbour Point, Lamy Shop and Save, Navua Police Station, Korobo Shopping Centre. Western Centre Singatoka, Minu Supermarket, Nandi MH Namaka, Nandi Market Diaz, Lautoka BDM Office, Bar Minus, Tavua MH Supermarket, Rakiraki Dio's Car Park. Lambasa is a BDM Office, RB Car Park, Savu PA's Office, Senganga Dio's Office, Nambuwalu Post Office. It will be put out in the radio stations and newspapers, the Fiji Sun. And then the next areas we need to target is, of course, the maritime areas, Tavyuni, Kandavu, Lau, Lomaibiti, Rotuma. We'll be actually taking it out to them. Yeah.
So what was the cost?
Oh, the cost. Oh, so we've had about $180,000. Yeah. Of course, we won't intend to print more. This needs to be updated even further, because obviously there'll be people like yourselves who haven't registered, people who are turning 18, in January of, say, next year or February. They'll of course need to be included in the roll, but we published this as a provisional roll, and it tells you the period of registration. So it's as at 15 November. You'll see on this. So as at 15 November, all the people who registered in Fiji and abroad, Fijians, they're all here. So when the new group come in, that'll be updated. But this, 540,000 out of an estimate of 600,000 voters, obviously is more than 5-6. So this is a very good amount, healthy amount of people. But like I said, there's still some people who are yet to register, and we hope that this will spur them to register. And the fact that it's photographed, people's photos are there, and it's in color, it makes it a lot more attractive. It gives a sense of ownership and stakeholdership in the process.
The political parties must be happy this morning to take their copies, because they were pushing for the rules. So
I think we had discussions about more than just that. We talked about the rules and how we'll have training for them, and also we discussed about the increase in the number of polling places. As you know, that previously you would go to one school and you have the three lines, what we used to have, Indian, Fijian, other. That obviously will go away now. But even one school, you could have you could use 5 different classrooms. So you could have A to D, E to G, whatever it is. So it gets done quickly, and in that way, because there's no demarcation. Because of course in some areas you can have longer lines in one group and shorter in the other one. In this way, everybody's equally spread, and it'll fasten the process, as we've already said that we want to have a public holiday on that day. So the idea is to make voting an easy chore. There are various rules pertaining to how we are going to manage people who may not be available to vote in their area where they live. So we have to have advanced voting like they have in Australia. For example, you may be a bus driver or you may be a sea captain and the boat that you need to take to Rotuma leaves on a Wednesday, and say voting is on Friday, you may not be in Lautoka. So we should have the facility for you to be able to vote in advance. In the same way, we have ability for Fijians living offshore, working as nurses, working in the British Army, or our troops. We need to make arrangements for them to be able to vote also. Of course, most people who will vote on the day itself. We've also highlighted in various public gatherings that employers also need to be understanding. There are some employment conditions that require people to work on shift basis, or they may need to be given a couple hours to get out of work to vote. So this is why it is crucial for us that when we are planning the logistics, which is currently being done, as you know, we already have at the moment working during this period, we have 4 experts in the office at the moment. In terms of the logistics and the blotting of the areas, that we have as many polling stations closest to heavily populated areas as possible.
So as of now, what do people have registered overseas?
Overseas, 600, 580, 588, 588. Yeah.
Also, say NFP not showing up today, what would that indicate?
You'll have to ask them that. We're going to send a copy to them. We just deliver it to the head office. I mean, it was a sign of us, having a conversation with the political parties. We're grateful for the fact that FLP, SODELPA, and PDP turned up, and we had those discussions. They asked us some questions, and we clarified those questions, and it appeared to us they went away very happy with it, and it was a form of engagement. It was a pity that NFP was not there. That's okay. They'll still get the copy of their roll.
Yes, sir. Which overseas country for registration?
The first one is Australia. Australia, as you know, is quite a large country, but also a lot of Fijians do live there. Somebody asked me, will you register the overstayers? Yes, of course. As far as we are concerned, they're Fijian citizens. So whatever the immigration status is in the country where they are living at the moment, that's not our issue. As long as they are Fijian citizens, we will register them. So Australia would be the big one. We've obviously learnt from the experience in New Zealand. There may be an opportunity to go back to New Zealand to register some people who may have missed out. And then, of course, after that, as the PSJ has discussed briefly with us, that we're looking at UK and perhaps the west coast of North America.
Okay, online registration.
No, there's on the website you can show your interest, so that helps us with the planning. We don't have that level of, I suppose, IT sophistication and verification process to register people online, because there are obviously, as can be seen, people who are still not necessarily honest, because you have to ensure that the registration process is completely credible. Otherwise you may have somebody sitting in Sydney and registering 100 people who don't exist. So that's equally important. And as you know, some people do get up to those kind of shenanigans if given half an opportunity.
So when will the electoral laws period?
Very soon. As we said, we've already got a first draft and we're working on that. A lot of it is also depending on the logistics that needs to be put in place. We want to have as much detail as possible in the regulations of the conduct of elections. It's very important. As you know that in previous elections the regulations weren't as thorough as they perhaps should have been. There was a lot of subjectivity. Please feel free to touch, feel, check your names if you've registered over here. Okay. Sorry.